Hello once again, I am Jim Dukart with T&D How Videos. Today we are with the Rappahannock Electric Cooperative near Culpepper, Virginia. We will be watching the replacement of an electrical pole and wires taken down by a recent storm. Our participating utility is the Rappahannock Electric Cooperative, and this video is sponsored by Burns & McDonnell. Now, as we start by watching the trucks pull into the right-of-way here for the pole replacement, a couple of very important points to make. Number one, there was a job site safety briefing held in the staging area nearby. Number two, all of these lines are completely de-energized. Before the work began, the crew had established visible opening points and/or grounds on each side of the pole replacement, as well as tagging, testing, and grounding all of the lines. So here we are watching the new pole being offloaded from the truck, and then they're going to grab a new fiberglass crossarm to attach to this new to-be-installed pole. And now, while still on the ground, it's time to unspool and tack in the ground wire that'll run the length of the pole. And next they can use the derrick here to remove the remainder of this storm-damaged pole out of the ground. As they're doing this, it's a good time to mention that while this looks like a distribution line, it's actually a transmission feeder line for Rappahannock. And what that means is that before we started this work, they were able to de-energize at both ends, both substation ends of this line, meaning that no one is without power while they're doing this pole replacement, and the lines are completely de-energized. Next, they can use the auger or digger on the truck to expand the hole for the new pole that's going to be placed. And once that's done, they can actually start framing this new pole on the ground. And you see that here, this on-the-ground framing includes putting a new crossarm on it, adding some insulators to that crossarm, and other equipment preparing to raise the pole into its new position. Now we're ready to move the pole with its crossarm assembly over to the other side of the truck, and then they're going to lift it into place. As they're doing so, a couple of things to point out. First, you can see they need to lift the pole up and then turn it. You see a guy in the bucket going up. He's got a GoPro camera on him. We'll see his point of view in a moment here. Back on the ground, they're using what's called a cant hook here to turn the pole so that the crossarm is oriented correctly, as you see here. And then back on the ground here, they'll bring in this red tamping tool to tamp down the new soil around the pole. Wanted to show you this. This is woodpecker damage to the pole that they're taking out, so they have to deal with that. That also sometimes weakens the poles that are then taken down by storms. Here is collecting up the wire on the ground from the damage, and this is called a butterfly on the truck here. They spool up the collected wire. And now we jump to the GoPro camera view here of our guy up in the bucket, and you'll see that he is watching them place the pole. Once it's set in place, he can bring the static neutral over. Again, because these lines are de-energized, you can see that he can work with regular work gloves on and does not have to have the fire retardant sleeves. So he connects that static neutral to the new shoe they put on the pole. And as he makes this connection, it's worth noting that this, as with the other wires and phases you're going to see upcoming, they brush the wires before they make the connections. Next, we're going to move one of the new phases over onto its insulator on this new crossarm on the new pole. Going to set that in place and then take out what is called tie wire to tie this phase in. As he continues to wrap this tie wire out as far as it'll go, and here you see on both sides of the insulator to secure that phase. And now we are going to go rather quickly through the next two phases. Same process, bring the wire up, set it in its insulator, bring out tie wire for each, and secure the phase to the insulator, thus to the crossarm and the pole on each of the three phases. And as he comes down a little bit lower here, you can see all 3 phases tied in. And then our line worker simply needs to attach a couple of brackets and connect the static neutral from the ground all the way up to the static neutral on the pole. You see him use a clamp here and a crimper to attach that. And as he does that and we come back down the pole, you have now seen our T&D How video on the replacement of a pole taken down by storm damage. Once again, our participating utility was the Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. This video was sponsored by Burns and McDonnell. I am Jim Dukart with T&D How videos. Thank you as always for watching.